Hi, my name's Josh Morgan. I am the Ward 7 City Councillor and Deputy Mayor for the City of London. Recently, a mass email was sent around and a petition was established that suggested we need to stop urban sprawl. That is in direct response to a proposal before Planning Committee on Monday, a proposal that I've written a letter of support for advancing to the next stage. I want to tell you why I've done that, but to do that, I got to go back a few months to earlier this year. Earlier this year, Auburn Developments submitted an application to develop a parcel of land in the very northwest corner of the city, inside the urban growth boundary, but right at the edge of the city, north side of Sunningdale Road. This is an application that our staff were not supportive of. They'd like to see the area planned within the context of the larger block around it. That block is outside of the urban growth boundary, and it's probably years away from even being considered coming in. We'd have to go through an urban growth boundary review process to do that. Auburn included a school block in their application on that land, and they did that because Sir Arthur Currie Elementary School, which is the closest school in the area, is well over capacity. This is an issue that I've been listening carefully to, the parents, the school community. So when it was suggested that we refer this to our staff and ask them to work with the school board to try to find a solution to the school challenge, I supported that. Over the months that preceded, staff has worked with the school board, and I can tell you they've not found an ideal solution. Since then, the challenges at Sir Arthur Currie have only gotten worse. I'm walking through the parking lot, and in that parking lot there are now portables. There's 22 of them around the school. Portables in the parking lot, portables in the schoolyard behind, portables on the other side where the younger children used to play. There's 22 of them. You can see the crane behind me. It installed a few more today. And behind me, if I turn around, you'll see the porta potties that the students use to go to the washroom. Porta potties. They got to go outside to go to the washroom. This is not a good situation. This is not what parents and students expect when they send their kids off to school. We need a solution as quick as possible. So, you know what got my attention was when the school board in Auburn suggested that they had a proposal and an agreement in principle that would advance the school by years. And the way they suggest to do that is Auburn has a development on the south side of Sunningdale, an existing subdivision that's got servicing and a subdivision agreement, and they could bring forward a zoning application to add a zone that would allow for the development of a school on that block. This would advance the school by years. That's attractive to me. That's something I'm willing to consider and hear more about. So I chatted with them about it. There's a bit of a catch to this one, and that is Auburn had planned to develop housing on the block that is proposed to become the school block, and they are looking to move that development to the northern block, north of Sunningdale, that I talked about earlier. That's not ideal, given what I said before. It's not a good, ideal, perfect solution. But it's a proposal that advances the school by years. And so what have I written really on Monday? I wrote a letter that says, let's put this on the table for discussion and debate. Let's have our staff work with the developer like they work with all developers on giving them advice on their zoning application, giving them information about the servicing needs and the conditions of the land. They do that on every application. So do that, and Auburn will have to bring forward that application themselves. They'll have to submit it. That application will go through all of the proper processes and the same sort of processes that every other application that come forward goes through. It'll have a public participation meeting, it'll have debate, it'll have scrutiny. I also suggest that staff bring back changes to the zoning to allow development on the north by moving it into a neighborhood provision with an environmental review designation as well. The reason why I suggested that is because I chatted with our staff. If we go against your recommendation and we want to consider this, how do we do it properly? So I wrote that up and I put it in there. And I even suggested that any temporary servicing be at the cost of the developer. City shouldn't be on the hook for that. And bring that back to us for a good public discussion and a good debate by council. And let's flesh it out and see if this is something we want to consider. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. There isn't always a perfect solution to the problems we have. We got a big problem at this school. I've never seen conditions like this. It's 22 portables. A school built for 533 has 1,000 students at it. There's almost as many students outside as inside. And at best, we're years away from a new school. And I prefer to put anything on the table that shortens that time frame. It's pretty easy to just say, let's blame the province and it's not our problem. It's a funding formula. They should have built a bigger school. Or it's poor planning on somebody's part. That doesn't solve the problem. And I'm for putting solutions in front of council that solves problems, even if they're not ideal, even if they require debate and thought and disagreement. And I expect my colleagues, and some of them have said on social media, this is a bad idea. I think it's an idea worth considering. I think it's an idea worth debate. I think it's an idea that advances the school by years. And it's an idea that, as the local ward councillor, is me representing the 1,000 students and 2,000 parents who just want better conditions at their school. Let's put that on the table for discussion. Let's see where it goes. Let's have a thoughtful debate. And we'll see what we come up with. That's what's before us on Monday. And I'm willing to move that to the next step. So I wanted to provide you with that context. I want you to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've always tried to do that as a counselor. I may not agree with every decision or every direction I go, but I'm always here to explain why. That's how I think I represent my constituents best, and I'm going to keep doing that each and every day. So thanks for your time. I hope this helps. We'll see you soon.